Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Fri-Date with the wife. In these episodes, my wife and I offer an entrepreneurial couple's perspective on living a more fulfilling and meaningful life. We share our little humble opinions and hopefully make you laugh as we navigate the ups and downs of being entrepreneurs and parents. And speaking of fulfillment, if you want to hire me as your coach, head over to robshowcoach.com, fill out an application, and we'll jump on a call to see if we are a good fit to help you create and design your dream life and business. That's robshowcoach.com. Before we get into today's Fri-Date episode, our next Work Hard, Play Hard Mastermind event will be in Dubai and Abu Dhabi for the F1 race on November 16th to the 19th. These trips are designed to get you out of your day-to-day, around some amazing entrepreneurs, and provide bucket list experiences that will have you coming home re-energized to grow your business and bring your life to a whole new level. Head over to workhardplayhardexperience.com and fill out an application. Okay, let's jump into today's episode. Kimberly, tan when you pass a light bulb, Murgatroyd. How are you?
That is the benefit of the Greek skin. Thank you very much.
In my mind, when I'm out there walking on the beach and the sun is hitting me, I'm just
terrified that you're turning into a raisin.
No. I think in my mind that I'm a Greek god with long hair and olive skin, and I am just taking it all in. I feel it, and then I look in the mirror and I look like Rick Astley, who hit the beach. But listen, we're not here to talk about my tan. We are here to talk about
well, sort of.
Well, kind of. So it's interesting. The older you get, the more it must be nice is that you get from people. And one of the latest must be nices is you guys are spending 2.5 months traveling around the world. That must be nice. Well, kids, let me tell you, that was not the case not that long ago.
I thought you were going to go, it is not that nice.
No, let me tell you that was not the case. So I want to do this in two parts. Part one is I want to tell you how we went from 1 week to 2.5 months. And then part two is I want to tell you what a day-to-day looks like when you're on 2.5 month little mini sabbatical, for lack of a better word. So let's start with the 1 week. We made a decision that we wanted to take a trip, and we decided to take a trip, and we went.
Well, hold on. Before you do that. So here's the reality. People spend money on what they spend money on. Some people want a bigger house. They want to put a pool in. They want new cars. They want whatever they want, right? They want 17 trips to Disney, whatever they want. We want travel. So our priority is travel. So we, obviously the priority is a roof over our head, clothes, and then not that far behind is travel. So many years ago, we talked about allocating a portion of our earnings and putting it into a travel account to make it easier for us to travel. So when it's like, hey, you want to take a trip, it's planned, it's saved for, and we have the money available. So it started with 1 week. We would take 1 week in the summer. And I remember every single week, we actually went to the bank together and we opened up an account and we called it travel. And the reason I'm giving you this information is because I want you to, not that I'm calling you out and saying you're saying must be nice, but if you're a must be nice person, or if you're interested in travel or anything, any goal you have, this is a great way to get there. Go to the bank, open up an account, and name that account, whatever you want it to be. If you want to take a course, if you want to take a trip, if you want, whatever it is, name the account. Every week, automate a little bit of money goes into that account. So we automated money going into the account for our travel. And when that trip came around.
Before you go there, I want to add something
that
I think is relevant. when you start with that vision, the universe will conspire in your favor. And what'll happen is little things will happen. Your mother will give you $20 for your birthday. Do you know what I mean?
And you put it in the account.
And you say, I'll slip the 20 to Kim and I'll go put that in the travel account. Okay. Yeah. So, maybe in the business, not that any business owner does this, sometimes somebody will give you cash for something. And let's just say that cash finds its way in your pocket. You look and you go, here you go. Put that in the travel account. And when you're serious about it, the universe winks at you, right? And says, all right, I'm going to help you out. I'm going to match it. It's like a 401k. I'm going to match it. For every 100 you put in, I'm going to send you some woo-woo money, and you're going to put that in. And I remember that as we had that account, it started building in cash, right? And then, which I think is what you're about to get to, which is when we actually took the trip, right?
Well, I will. But we started with 1 week. And then we would go on that 1 week trip. And for us, it was to Mykonos. We went 1 week. And on the 7th day, we looked at each other and we were like, this is just not long enough. Like, we are just starting to unwind. We are just getting into the flow and we got to pack up and leave. What if we did 2 weeks next year? And I remember us sitting there and looking at each other and going, this is nuts, because we had a business. We'd have to find coverage for the business. We'd have to save double the money. Like, it sounded insane. But there was something in us screaming, it's okay, take the leap. And so before we left, we made a reservation for the following year for 2 weeks. We got home. We had to up that weekly savings. But when you up that automated amount, like Rob said, you're building momentum. The universe starts to conspire and you find more ways to hit that higher number.
All right, hold on. Let's stop there. Because I'm going back in my mind, right? So then the conversation, because we're going to use Greece as an example, because that's where we went. That's where one of the places we started this idea with. Then we went and I said to the owner of the hotel, it was a small little hotel. And I said, yeah, hey, if we come back next year and instead of staying a week, if we stay 2, can you give me a little better deal? So sure, not a problem. Okay, great. So now we were able to negotiate a little bit of a better deal. So now we had that. I also want you to think about when you have a business, when you're an employee, this is not so much of an issue, but when you have a business and you're gone, things are going to get fucked up. Things are going to break. And Tim Ferriss wrote a blog called The Art of Letting Bad Things Happen. Look it up. And it was him talking about his, one of his like, what do you call it? Mini retirements, where he leaves and he's gone for 3 months at a time. And he's like, okay, well, what's the worst that's going to happen? Well, the worst that can happen is I'll get a letter from the IRS. I won't get the letter from the IRS. And okay, well, what's the worst thing that happen if you don't get the letter? Well, they could do. And he went through these worst case scenarios. There will be bad shit that's going to happen. Mm-hmm. We have had employees quit
in the middle of our trip.
The only chiropractor running my office quit while I'm there, and you try and get on a plane and fly back quick so you can adjust some patients. That's not easy. We've had staff who've quit. We've had infighting with the team, you name it, over the period of time. And so we realized that the art of letting things bad happen is something that if you're going to want to grow, that it's just something that's inevitable. And the payoff for getting to take the 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks off and having the bad thing happen, you come back, you fix the bad thing. There's never been anything that was bad that happened that we weren't able to pick the pieces up and fix when we got back.
Right. So then, we go on for 2 weeks and then we look at each other and we're like, what if we did 3 weeks? And now we're really starting to get crazy.
All right, let's stop there. So when you think about 3 weeks, that was freaking terrifying. When you said 3 weeks, you might as well have said you're taking a year off. Yeah. That's what it felt like. It was a push beyond belief. And I remember doing this, having this conversation with our friend Darren. And I said, we said, I'm doing a week. And he said, okay, I'll do a week. And I said, I'm doing 2 weeks. I said, okay, I'm doing 2 weeks. And when we got to the 3-week part, we were quibbling back and forth. And he's going, can't do 21 days.
But maybe 17.
But I could do 17, okay? And we were pushing it. And there's a lot to talk about things that we did wrong during that time. We spent a lot of time, trying to figure out how to manage the office while we were on vacation. And that's a mistake. That's a podcast for another day. But we pushed it, and we pushed it for the 3 weeks.
But financially, the plan was the same. It was to siphon money. And so it began this thing like, okay, so our travel savings weekly is pretty significant because we're going to be gone for 3 weeks. So we need to really up the ante here. So we would do things differently. We would go out to dinner less we were living in Atlanta at the time. We would do a couple less dinners out during the week, and we would have more money to put it to the side. We started to make different decisions with what we would do, and we decided to make it fun.
I remember you saying things like, all right, here's the deal. If you don't go out to dinner on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday this week, I can add $350 more to our 3-week vacation.
Right. So we started doing things like that because, again, this was a priority to us. But here's what I did on the 3-week vacation. I didn't really do the envelopes until the 3-week vacation.
Well, before I get to the envelopes, hold on. Sorry. Because you're taking me right back to state, and I'm remembering all of this. I want you to really think about this. Really put yourself in these shoes. If I said to you, you're taking 3 weeks off and you're going to Hoboken, New Jersey, okay? Fine. It's near New York. It'll be fine. I'm not working. That sounds great. If I say to you, you're taking 3 weeks off and you're going to be sailing the blue Aegean seas of Greece, there's a completely different experience when you think about being in the Greek Isles. So because we had been there and we knew what it felt like and how much we loved it and how we dropped into it, the thought of that 3 weeks, number one, it was a huge goal. And it felt like, God, if I could freaking do this, this would change my life. 1, 2, having the dangling carrot of something that we wanted so bad, we were willing to hang by our toenails to get it.
Okay. No, speaking of hanging by the toenails, it's not that we increased our income significantly to handle the 3 weeks, because a lot of the travel is the flight. The flight is often one of the most expensive parts. Adding the hotel nights, sure, is expensive, but it's not as costly as the flight. Like that one day of travel costs a pretty penny. So with that 3 weeks, do you remember the deal with the 3 weeks? So when we would go for 1 week, we would hit all of our favorite places, which were usually the more expensive places. When we went for he's laughing. He's starting to laugh. When we went for 3 weeks, I was like, okay, so listen, we're going to have like a sandwich for lunch. Like we can't go out and do $100 lunches and dinners or whatever. So we started to find little places on the island that were super inexpensive. We could go and have a pizza or whatever, because we would be gone for 3 weeks and you can't, swing from the chandeliers, popping bottles for 3 weeks.
All right, now hold on. So now I remember that we started to say, okay, so we have, we took the cash, we split it up.
Hold on. No.
Why?
Because I did this.
Okay.
So I would go to the bank and I would withdraw.
Before we left for the trip. I would withdraw
the money, the cash from the bank. I would take that money and I would go to American Express, which had a local travel office. And every summer, they got to know me there because I did this every summer. I would go there and I would convert that money into euros. And I would take that money home like I was in Goodfellas. I would go home with a ton of cash. And initially when we did this, we did traveler's checks, but those became a thing in the past. So I'd go home and the first time I did this was 3 weeks on the 3-week trip. I made 3 envelopes. I divided the cash evenly between the 3 envelopes. I wrote the dates of the weeks on the cover and I sealed it. And I took it, I put it in the safe in the room once we got to Greece. And that was the amount of money we had for the week. So if we decided to go blow it on something, we were going to eat a ham sandwich the rest of the time we were there.
Hold on. So now I can remember, let's just say that it was $700 for the week, right? Because it's easy numbers. 700 divided by 7 days is $100 a day. She'd take $100, she'd stick it in her bra when we left the house. She'd say, make it last.
Okay, I'm literally not your mother.
She'd say, make it last all day. That's just what you got for the day. If you want to buy a bottle of champagne, then, you're not eating out tonight, right? So we'd have this number. Okay. Well, sometimes we'd fuck it up and we'd be into the martinis and, we'd have the $350 bill at the end of the day. And then, Tuesday she'd say, you have no money left. And I'd be like, what do you mean? Well, you got $100 left. Okay. You got 4 more days.
4 more days.
And I go, well, just open the second envelope. No, I'm not opening that second envelope because we're going to deal with that one next week. Well, what the hell you want me to do with $100? Okay. Well, this happened in Saint-Tropez. So I know this sounds like, oh God, please.
No.
So,
but that's the point though.
Okay. All right. No, hold on. Let me finish.
Wait a minute. The point is that we want you to see that we were not rolling in the dough and being able to run.
We were sliding into Saint-Tropez by
the skin of our teeth.
Right, they actually, whoever the toll booth guy in Saint-Tropez, I think he looked at us and went, all right, we'll let him in, but I'm not sure they're going to make it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we get in there and 3-4 days in, because what we started to do was we started to say, okay, well, why don't we just do 2 weeks in Greece and maybe a week somewhere else? And one of those somewhere else weeks was Saint-Tropez. And I remember that we got about halfway through the week and we ran out of money and we had, a very small amount of money left that had to last us because we weren't allowed to open, the next envelope. And I was like, well, what are we going to do? Literally at that time, this was 10 years ago, the cocktails were $30 a cocktail. And we're like, I can't have a cocktail. What are we going to do? So we came across French Costco. Okay. So we walked into French Costco and thank God the French rosé at French Costco is not bad. So we bought a case.
It was €2 per bottle. It was $2 Chuck.
Yeah. We bought $2 Chuck rosé at French Costco. And we smuggled it into the hotel that we were staying in, okay? And so we did, college style with the solo cup. I'd get up and
No. We would get one glass.
Oh, that's right. We got one glass and then we'd drink.
And then we would refill it in our room.
We'd get one glass of wine. That's exactly what it was. Get one glass of wine. I'd sneak back to the room and say, excuse me 1 second. I'd shove the wine glass down my pants. We'd fill it up with wine. I'd come back and the lady would come around and go, do you guys need anything else? No, we're good. But are you drinking? Oh, I'm on my 7th one. I just keep refilling it. You don't know that I'm refilling it, but I'm refilling it.
But then what did we do for food?
Okay, and then we're like,
to go out to dinner there, so it's now 300 euros.
Now we're drunk on $2 French Chuck, and we're walking around Saint-Tropez going, what the fuck are we going to eat? So we see a big sign, and it says Jambon. Jambon, J-A-M-O-N?
J-A-M-B-O-N.
Jambon. Okay, so I see Jambon. I'm like, what's that? That's ham. Okay, ham's cheap. It looks like a ham sandwich. How much is that? That's €2. All right, I'm drunk anyway. It doesn't matter. So we're literally going, and every day was Jambon. By the end of the week, my wife would look at me and she'd say to me, okay, do you want this to be a Jambon week again? Okay. It was like I was in French prison camp. It was the weirdest juxtaposition. That's why I called it camp. It was like prison and camp. It was like both of them. Okay. So then we went, okay, so we got to figure out how we're going to make this money last. Okay. Now, you get the idea. We've gone through 3 weeks and we got to a point where the maximum we were able to go was 1 month while still having a business that we were actively running, while still having a brick and mortar business that we were running.
Yeah, we did. And we actually documented this on our YouTube channel. We did 30 days away. And Sophia was probably 2 or 3 years old when we did this. And we did 30 days in Greece. And it was amazing. It was so much fun. And same thing, same way we did it. Then we got rid of the clinic. Then we sold the clinic. And when we sold the clinic, we said we were going to move to California, but I asked you, I said, Rob, now you have this new business. And he had just started Work Hard, Play Hard. It was the first year. And 2 of the events, one was in Monaco, one was in Florence. And I said, can we just stay in Europe between Monaco and Florence? Because again, the plane tickets are the most expensive part, right? So he said, sure. Well, we didn't do hotels. We didn't do any of that. We did 4 months of Airbnbs. And because again, the reason that we're giving you this detail is a lot of people I wish I could travel. I wish I could take time off and do this. I wish. I want you to see that, number 1, it was a priority that we saved for. Number 2, we weren't afraid to get 2 buck chuck and jambone on it. And number 3, there are ways to do it and have an incredible experience, but not spend a fortune. And so you don't have to wait until you have a financial windfall to take the trip, because the trip was what was important.
Well, listen, this is the thing.
Yeah.
So now we've got, we did that 4-month trip, right? So now we went, okay, we're into this now. Like, we love this extended sort of, vacation vibe. So we said, how do we build our life around this thing that we love? And then we thought, okay, so should we buy a Porsche? No, shouldn't do that. Should we buy a multi-million dollar house? No, shouldn't do that either. We looked and said, what are the things that are important to us? This is important to us. So let's build our life around that. And then that led into us ultimately moving into Europe, and the rest is history.
Okay. And so this year, right now, we are doing roughly 2.5 months, from mid-June to the end of August. We are traveling basically all of Europe. So we did 10 days in Greece. We went back to Italy for 5 days. My family was coming to visit. And then we headed to Spain for 3 weeks. And then we go back to Italy for a week to basically do laundry, repack. And then the month of August, we're going north into Austria, Switzerland, maybe Copenhagen, because we heard they're really happy there. And, and it seems like a good place to go. But we're exploring. And so now it's this 2.5 month thing. It's a long time to be traveling. So again, same rules apply, where I don't have cash for each week. A lot of it, we use credit cards at this point. To give clarification,
we're clear on the rhythm that we need to have.
To give clarification to the cash before, is that when we were in Greece, pretty much everything was cash only. So credit cards weren't widely accepted at the time, which is why we brought a lot of cash. But now we have the rhythm. We know what it looks like. And this 2.5 month period, we got a great rate at our hotel in Greece. We've been staying there over a decade. They gave us a great rate for the 10 days. We're here now in Mallorca. Right now, we're in a 4-star hotel. And it's a small boutique hotel in a tiny little, I don't even know if they have 5-star hotels, but I remember looking and going, it's not worth a higher cost to me, because we're literally sitting on the ocean and I don't care about the room and whatever. And it's nice. It's not the Ritz-Carlton, but it's fine, because again, it's facilitating us. You can't do 5 stars, or we can't do 5 stars every single night.
Hold on a second. Hold on. I'm gonna,
for 2.5 months yet.
I'm going to push back on you on there. Okay. Yeah. So let's get real here. We sat down. We have friends who are living a life of being able to do extensive travel at any hotel of their choosing for as long as they want to do it. That makes me jealous. That makes me envious.
Our next dream.
So that's our next dream, is finding a way that we can enhance it. Okay.
Right. Which is why I want to be real, because I don't want the listener to be like, oh my God, they're gallivanting Europe.
Why is always somebody gallivanting when they're doing something that's over the top? You're gallivanting all around.
But we're not, but we want to be. But listen, so my point is now we're doing this week, it's like this little boutique hotel. Next week, we have a nicer hotel, because it's beautiful. It's on the beach and it worked for us. And so we're going to we're going to go up and down in stars. We're going to have some jambone here. We've passed the stage now where I don't think we have to go get the $2 chuck. At least I hope not.
No, but let me tell you, if push came to shove, we know how to do it. We know how to do it.
We know how to do it.
All right, so let's wrap up with this last piece, which is, what does a typical day look like here? I will tell you what the day looks like, and Kim will correct me as I go through it.
Real quick, let's talk about why. I'm going to start my correction now. The reason we're sharing what our day looks like is because we're not taking 2.5 months off and not doing anything. Like, for example, we're recording a podcast right now. We do actually work. Rob does coaching calls. We're planning the Work Hard, Play Hard Platinum trips that are coming up. I'm doing my business, and we're launching new legs of our income, all while we're traveling. So the way we set our life up is so we can work from anywhere, but that doesn't mean we're sitting at the beach with a laptop, because I have seen that shit, which is crazy.
but there is, that's really crazy. I saw a guy literally walking down the beach with it. I thought the laptop was going to get fried from the sun. Okay, so here's what I want to say. So I'll give this to Kim, so she'll tee this up. We wake up in the morning.
Feeling like P. Diddy.
She loves to do that, so I just have to get that out of the way. And by morning, that's 10 o'clock, okay? We'll get up somewhere around 9:30, maybe 10 o'clock, because the night before is late, which I'll get to at the end of this. And I will go out on the deck, and I will do 20 minutes of meditation, followed by 20 minutes of mobility work, followed by 20 minutes of journaling. From Kim will roll around with Sophia in the morning, and she's usually farting, making Kim laugh.
Oh, I thought me.
No, Kim's not farting. At least I don't think so.
Let's just have clarity on that.
Okay. And then we will all go down for usually the last 20 minutes that the free breakfast option is still going. And Kim will have school books that she has with Sophia to kind of get her keep her momentum going with school and getting her ahead of the game, or well prepared, let's call it, for her next grade. And when she is doing that, I go out for a walk. And during that walk, I'll listen to a podcast and get some, inspiration. I'll come back from the walk. Kim will just be finishing doing school with Sophia for that, hour or whatever it is. And Kim and I will then do our meeting. Now, this is the real key. The reason why we make money on vacation is because we're in the right frame of mind to be creative and innovative. So we'll sit there, poolside, cup of coffee, and we'll review all the different ideas that we have for different projects. And we have the freedom and the time to massage these ideas around. And what about this? And what about that? And what about this? And then we wait until Sophia gets restless enough where she says, I can't take it anymore. I am either going to jump in the pool, or I'm going to drive the car to the beach myself. And then we say, okay, it's time. And so we'll go down to the beach or the pool. We usually spend an hour or so, and then we'll head out for a nice lunch. And during that lunch, we'll finish up any loose ends of the business meeting. But again, this is all like not necessarily worky stuff where it's, like we're sitting on a computer typing. It's more creative work where we're having conversations about where we see the brand going, how we're evolving it, podcast titles, book ideas, things like that. And then it's full on Sophia, where we'll go we're in the water somewhere, beach or pool, and we'll do family playing for maybe 2, 3, or 4 hours. And that brings us up to where we are right now, which is 7:38 in the evening. And we've been recording podcasts for the last hour and a half. Sophia's sitting on the deck and she is playing with her iPad. I'll jump in the shower. Kim and Sophia already had their shower, and we will go to dinner at 8:30. We probably won't be back until around midnight tonight, and we will do a wind down at night, maybe watch a Disney movie. And
yes, we're literally talking about doing a Disney movie at midnight.
After tapas, which is how they say it here in Spain. They have a little lisp with their...
But we give her about 15 minutes just to kind of wind down. Half the time she says, I'm tired, I want to go to bed. And we sleep till 10.
And that usually ends around midnight or 1. Now, This is Spanish culture. You will see people out at midnight with their 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10-year-old. It's just the way it is.
It's not just us. Actually, last night there were babies. There were little ones running up and down the street at this little piazza. I don't think they call that here, but little town square with live music, and that's the culture. So it's a late culture, but I hope you guys got some value out of this. If nothing else, and if travel is not your thing, use the strategy of automating a little siphoning of your income into an account that is meaningful to you, that you are going to do something with, something incredible with, something that will be more fulfilling in your life. When you automate it, it makes it happen. It builds momentum and it'll get done versus just dreaming about it forever.
That's it, ladies and gentlemen. We will see you next week. Bye-bye. All right. Thanks for listening. If you love this episode and you know someone that needs some help in either stepping up their work hard game or their play hard game, it would mean the world to me if you shared this podcast with them to help me get this movement out there. So if you like what you heard, head on over to iTunes, take 30 seconds and leave me a 5-star review, and I will be forever grateful. So until the next episode, excuses are over. It's time to live.